Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brandon Wilkins, and today I'm going to be talking about developing an approach to improvisation. This doesn't necessarily apply to the saxophone, but my experience comes from that. You can apply these ideas to just about any instrument. So I first off want to start by kind of outlining some things that we can improve on as musicians without practicing licks, because I find that it's an easy road to go down, getting caught up practicing licks and transcribing solos and doing all these things, and that kind of gets you farther away from developing your own unique voice on an instrument, especially in improvisation. So each of these things I'm going to talk about today, I will go into greater detail in my video series, and I'd like to break them down further so that people can understand how I approach each of these ideas. First thing I'm going to talk about is tone. This is something that you can work on that doesn't require learning any new notes. This is just about developing your sound as a musician, developing your voice on an instrument. And tone is important because it's actually what people are hearing. You know, the way that your sound vibrates really makes an impact on an audience, because they don't want to hear somebody who doesn't sound good or doesn't have a nice resonant, warm tone. You know, the nuances of tone are like a fingerprint, unique to you. But there are certain common traits between great saxophonists and great musicians. You know, they all have great tones that have similar pleasing qualities. Another thing that we can improve on in improvisation without practicing licks is intonation. Some things that I do to improve my intonation are practicing with drones, working with a tuner, using my ears, harmonizing with things that I listen to, sitting at a piano and playing chords and practicing my saxophone to it so that I can hear the relationships. You want to practice so that the notes that you play vibrate at the simplest ratio with the with whatever you're harmonizing to. And I'll go more into detail about my ideas on this as my YouTube channel expands, so stay tuned for more videos. Another thing that we can work on without learning any new notes or anything is ear training. This is your understanding of relative pitch, chord recognition. You know, it's also improving your sense of pitch with your ear, knowing that you are out. So I think it's very important to develop these basic things. You know, another one is our innate sense of time. You can play the drums. That's a really good thing. Or to practice with a metronome. And the farther in you can go on the rhythmic tree, the better. These are all things that you can do to improve your overall musicianship without resorting to learning people's licks, because that vocabulary will only take you so far. You could learn a million licks, but if you don't know how to use them or how they fit, or if you don't play with a good sound, good sense of time, it doesn't matter. It's not going to come across, and your intent is not going to matter. So my recommendation is to record yourself and listen to what you've played to see if you can hear any weakness in any particular areas. This is not an exhaustive list, but this is my goal here is to kind of tickle your brain, get things started, and hopefully you'll be inspired to dive in deeper. If you don't hear any of these weaknesses in your playing, either you're the most amazing saxophonist ever, because we're all growing and we're all improving here, or your ears are just not that developed and you're kind of listening past the things that are weaknesses in your playing, which is very normal. So what I recommend is following your recording with a recording of somebody you admire, so you can hear that there's a big gap between your playing and theirs, and you might be able to pick up on them. You might be able to pick up on some strengths that they have that you don't have, and then that isolates some weaknesses in your own playing. Let's see. It's important to understand that teachers can only expose you to things. As a jazz musician, and I'm speaking about all musicians, but I feel like it applies to a wide range of it applies most importantly to jazz musicians, in the sense that being a great musician is taking responsibility and ownership of your own learning. Only you can do the work. Anyway, moving along from the things that you can do to improve your playing that do not involve notes, obviously playing other people's vocabulary is a really great way of understanding the intricacies of improvising. You can also learn vocabulary by writing out things that you might like to try. When I was in college, a lot of what I did was sitting down at a piece of manuscript paper and writing out ideas with certain harmonic concepts in mind, so that I could try things out and see what I actually liked. I wrote about 1,000 licks that I didn't like, and probably 5 that I really liked. And I practiced the 5 that I really liked until I knew them in every key. I think it is absolutely crucial to impart your own compositions, your own vocabulary in your playing, because that's what makes you you. Joe Henderson didn't evolve as a saxophonist until he started practicing and playing what he wrote. Composition is the way to your voice, as also Ron Carter says. So writing is a really great way to develop your sense of style. And you might start off writing licks or ideas that you like, and those can be embellished into full compositions. It doesn't matter what style you're writing. And that kind of takes us into the idea of phrasing. Phrasing is a really tricky thing, and it's something that I find myself struggling with these days. I'm naturally somebody who likes starting things confidently, but sometimes I struggle to finish ideas strongly. So what I've been focusing on lately is the idea of I'm playing, and all these ideas are coming out, but every phrase that I play, I need to finish strong. So I will play until I feel that there's like a node, like as in a sine wave. I play until I feel like there's a natural resting spot. And sometimes when I get there, I find myself hearing more, so I continue playing. But I think it's important to have an awareness of the natural tendency of an idea. You want to create that intimate awareness. And in a perfect world, you have, obviously this is all practicing in a vacuum, in the practice room. You're not on the bandstand, because you don't want to be thinking when you're playing on the bandstand. You just want to let it all out. But I like the idea of in your vacuum, in your practice room, you're thinking, okay, maybe you have your Jamie Aebersold play along going, and you're thinking, okay, you're feeling, when am I going to come in? When does this note when does this idea want to pop out? So you're listening and you're waiting, and then you come in, and then you're playing, and over time you'll develop enough vocabulary or ideas or manipulation on your horn that you can keep producing content. Obviously, you want it to be in the key. You want it to be, you're playing the changes. But when do you stop? How do you end your phrase? You keep going until you. That's why you keep your ears open the whole time. So this is something that takes a lot of focus. I struggle with it a lot. I can only take 15, 20 minutes at a time, but I find that when I pick up the horn and I go on the bandstand, my playing sounds better to me, and I feel like I make more sense. And making sense to me is very important. And I want to be able to communicate with an audience. I think music is very powerful in that way. Music, sound, voice, they're all related, and the universe itself is made up of all vibration. Everything has vibration. So music is really the study of a very narrow band of vibration. So I think I think that's what relates music to life in one, at least one way. Thanks for listening to me kind of ramble on a little bit. I will be getting a nice video camera later this week, and hopefully by Monday of next week I'll have some edited videos. I'm getting my my setup here all put together, and I'm going to put some really good videos together, and I'll dive more deeply into some of the topics I've discussed today. I hope you got something out of this. If you have any questions, please leave a comment on this video, or you can like and subscribe if you like what I'm talking about. If you get any value out of this, it would mean a lot. And stay tuned for next time. I'll probably be back tomorrow. Thanks.